What's up, everybody? It's Monday and we've got an update coming your way. This is updates for week 10 and 11. Okay, so week 10, if you recall, we had previously been out of town and been eating a little freely, so we definitely had, a little bit of weight increase. So when I got back, I got right on things and was back to eating clean. And so the first week, let's see here, we're talking about week 10, lost 0.8 of a pound, which when I looked at my lean body mass, it was exactly the same. So at least that 0.8 of a pound was pure body fat. So I really like that. That was, it was a great way to come back from, eating kind of how I wanted to and getting back on the horse and getting to a new low. So that was big time, because, if you get off track, it's all about how you respond. And it wasn't so much that we were, made a mistake. We had purposefully done that. So we were enjoying the 4th of July. We're back at it, lost 0.8 of a pound, week 10. Now we're at week 11, okay? So we made a 2.4 pound loss on the scale. So second week here on week 11, much bigger weight loss. Although we did lose like 0.8 of a pound of lean body mass. I don't love to see that. I know that, ideally we'd be consuming more protein and that would help combat that. So with that said, we lost, it was like, I want to say 1.6 pounds of fat. So 2/3 fat, 1/3 lean body mass. Not a great ratio, but definitely progress. I mean, we plan on losing as much fat mass as we can in the next, let's just say 12 to 15 weeks. And then we're going to put on muscle. We're going to try and refer to this as main gaining. When I get down low, I'm not really aiming to gain weight because I want to stay lighter, but I do want to gain muscle. So if we can either gain muscle and lose fat, or maintain the amount of fat we have and just gain muscle, that's our goal. So we're losing a little bit of lean body mass, but we plan on gaining that back with the reverse diet once we're down nice and low. So with that 2.4 pounds of weight loss this week, like I said, 1.6 pounds were body fat. So a few things have changed. I am eating a little bit differently. I don't know if you've ever experienced like eating a certain way for some time and then all of a sudden it's not as appealing. Probably it's just due to large consumption of fruits and vegetables that I have. But if you've ever experienced this, we bought a bunch of fruit, bunch of vegetables, and like it just didn't all get eaten and some of it went bad. So first of all, I hate to waste food, hate to waste money. That's not ideal. But it just shows me that, hey, you're not really craving this as much as you were. So what I'm doing is, knowing that I have a bit of a sweet tooth, I'm kind of transitioning a little bit to if it fits your macros. We're still hitting the same target of protein, still the same number of calories. We've switched to a high-low days. Okay, so for this week, we're still aiming for approximately the 2250 calorie average, which right now, Monday through Thursday, I'm at 2650 calories. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're at 1650. So, 1,000 calorie difference there. Definitely, I feel like I'm eating pretty lean on the weekends, when I get down to that calorie range. But my goal was to change my weekends from being kind of my weakness to where, I'm typically gaining weight because of whatever reason. Obviously, in times past, I would do a refeed, or even recently when I was really watching my calories with the slightly higher 2200 calories, like I really wasn't having a whole lot of success on the weekends losing weight. It was like kind of like maintain, kind of float around a little bit. So this weekend, with the much lower calories, I was able to actually, lose weight over the weekend. So we're taking, what was a weakness and changing it to at least being, if not a strong suit, at least, we're up with the other days. We're losing weight, and I feel like it's the best strategy for me right now. We make small changes as we go, things that make sense to do, and things that are going to help us maintain this kind of lifestyle. So, the few calories and foods that I'm eating differently, we're not eating as much fruit, okay? And I've replaced that with my cocoa covered almonds. If anyone knows about those, they're very similar calorie wise to regular almonds, but they have this, they call them dark chocolate. So I'm not sure if it's dark chocolate, cocoa, or a combination of the two, but with the calories being about the same, but it tastes so much better, that's money for me. So I put, a couple of servings of those cocoa covered almonds, and I've kind of replaced it with the fruit, at least for now. It's just helping with wanting a bit of sweets. It's almost like a dessert for me. Also, like, I haven't up until recently done any real dairy, so I have added a little bit of dairy in there, and I'm just having like a small bowl of frosted mini wheats with milk. So that's around 200 to 300 calories. So I'm just making sure that my calories are the same, and I'm just swapping a few food choices, and I think that's really helping, just because it's a little bit more of a treat to eat either the almonds or the cereal, and less of a chore to like consume a bunch of fruit that right now is not going down as easy. So we're really making progress there. I will say, I know that when I'm talking, sometimes I say we a lot, and the funny thing is, sometimes I'm referring to September and sometimes I'm not. It's just like comes out we, because I think in terms of our family and me and September as a couple. So a lot of times though, if say I'm eating, say, dessert, or maybe I'm having some beers, that's actually me. That's not September, because she doesn't do that. She's definitely more strict, and what she is doing is similar food wise, but also very different. She is using intermittent fasting, so she's skipping breakfast, she's just having coffee in the morning, and then she's having lean proteins for lunch and dinner. So anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces of lean meat, and then she's having, like, some days she'll have an apple, and then she'll have usually a serving of vegetables with one of her meals. So a lot lower calories, however, it's worked very well for her, and she's sticking to it. So, she knows what she's doing, and so it works great, because at mealtime, we're eating the same things, but we portioned it to our own desire. So, when I say we, that may be confusing for some people. Obviously, I'm always talking about myself. Sometimes September is doing the stuff like eating the lean meats. We're doing exercise in the morning. So, I'll try and clarify in the future, like when it's me doing things versus September and I. So we're definitely in this together. We've got a vacation coming up, so we're both hoping to hit like specific goals and new lows, which is going to be great, because I don't plan on like eating super lean, super healthy on the trip. I plan on kind of doing a balance, maybe sticking with the lean meats and the food choices that we have, but not being so particular in tracking everything and, you know, just really dieting. Don't like that word, but dieting down. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get to a lower lean body mass. Well, we're keeping our lean body mass. We're trying to get to a lower fat mass. So with that said, we've got a couple weeks till we go out of town. We're going to really try and, you know, be strict, you know, keep my weekends low. I mean, in fact, this past weekend, we had a family get together. We went out to eat at a restaurant, but we didn't actually eat. Okay, I don't know if you've ever done this. It's definitely difficult, and I think it's not something that you necessarily aim to do. But hey, if you do it a couple times, to say, you know what, I literally sat there while everyone else had delicious food and had, you know, regular sodas, ice cream. You know, they had like root beer floats. We went to Fitz's, and so I just said, you know what, I am gonna have diet sodas. So I drink a crap ton of bottomless diet sodas. I know that there's no real calories in that, so it could be debated whether that's a good or bad move. For me though, I felt like it was a good balance. It's like, hey, you're going out, you're having something enjoyable, but you're not influencing your calories, you're not having a ton of unnecessary food. And so what would have been definitely a bad weigh-in, because at this point I'm still weighing in daily, because I'm trying to dial things in. Don't plan on doing that forever, but you know, if I would have eaten out and then weighed myself in the morning, it would have been up, guaranteed. You know, no matter how lean I would have eaten, even sometimes at the same calories, the food, number one, is different. You don't know how it's prepared. You don't know if you order a steak, whether they're drizzling butter on it or anything like that. We did try something new. We were like, hey, why don't we go to the fruit stand? Shout out to those guys on Manchester. Fruit stand, they have a lot of seafood too, so it's like kind of the best of both worlds. Also have meats and things like that. So they do boils on Saturday. So me and September are like, hey, let's get some shrimp. Shrimp are high in protein, low in fat, and it's like, I could buy this shrimp and take it home and cook it myself. They cook it for you for free. They do a boil. So we got a pound of shrimp each, and it was delicious. And we both had great weigh-ins the next day. You know, in September, she was loving the shrimp. So she ended up combining 2 meals in one, and she just had the shrimp for lunch. It's, if you've ever heard of OMAD, 1 meal a day. She had a large portion for lunch, and she was so full from it that she didn't need dinner. Okay, but since she was getting double the protein in one sitting, it didn't negatively affect her lean body mass at all. So, you know, that's something that we'll try and repeat, I think. You know, the shrimp, I mean, it's delicious. It's low and extremely low in fat, no carbohydrates, and so, you know, that's a winner. And, you know, if you have that inkling to eat out, this is kind of like eating out. You know, it's like they're preparing the food for you. All you gotta do is eat it. So, you know, shout out to them. Definitely want to continue to do that because that was delicious. And overall, we know that we got a solid 2 weeks until we go out of town. We want to hit new lows. I plan on enjoying my time, having a couple brewskis, you know, not something that is necessarily going to help me towards my fat loss goals, but in this grand scheme of things with like socializing and just having a good time and having experiences, for me, I feel like it's worth it. I'll definitely be a little modest, like we're not going, you know, balls to the walls drinking here, but if I want to have a few cold ones, you know, that's part of the plan. So we'll come back, and then we'll have, I think it's 6 weeks till my birthday. So I'm gonna come back, hit another solid 6 weeks where low calories on the weekends, higher calories during the week, because that's what's working for me right now. And I feel like it gives my metabolism a little bit of a charge when you get days with higher calories. Ultimately, it averages out to be the same, so you have to make the sacrifice on your low days. But as long as it's working, and as long as I'm, satisfied as far as food goes, I think it's a winner. So then we'll have my birthday. I'll probably do a similar thing as vacation, have a little cake, have a few beers, maybe some good food, celebrate with friends. And then I'm looking at potentially locking in until Thanksgiving, which would actually be, if you counted the weeks, I think we're about 15 weeks out from Thanksgiving. So that will give me the ability to get down low. I initially was aiming for, in this first fat loss phase, like 235. But I think if I can get down to 225, 220, then when I do my refeed, I'm going to have more leeway, because it's likely that when you do a reverse diet that you're going to gain some weight. Okay, we're looking to gain lean body mass, so if we do gain some weight, even up to 15 pounds, if you get down to the 220, then I literally am up to the 235, which is what I originally planned, and with more muscle, more ability to burn calories, because we'll have raised calories throughout that time period, and then just aim to come back, early next year with a, refined approach to fat loss. And that will allow us to get down to hopefully ultimately 205. If I can get down to 205, reverse diet back up to 220 or so, then my goal will be to try and get to the point where we continue to do like cuts and lean bulks until I get to the body like physique that I really want, and maybe continue to diet down and then bulk up to where, I want to hit that average median like 215 or so weight, to where I've maintained that average over the course of a year. So if I can get down to 205 and then fluctuate between being at my lowest at 205 and being at my highest at 230, 235, then ultimately my average is going to be right around that 215. And I've heard that, if you've ever heard of something called a weight set point, it's a theory that if you want to maintain a weight, then you need to maintain that weight for approximately a year. Now, I feel like for me it'd be harder to maintain exactly 215. Let's make it more of an average, so that when I get down low, it's counteracting the times that I'm up high. And the thing is, I want to be able to eat a large amount of calories. In my mind, with my body type, if I can maintain body weight at a higher caloric intake, that's going to allow me to have more leeway when, say, we go out of town or we're doing something with the family. Because let's be honest, I want to eat at Fitz's. I want to have a meal. I want to be able to have, a root beer float. I do think it's going to take being reasonable and not going carb lunch, because if you eat a meal and a root beer float, I'm guessing that you're in, I want to say you're close to 2,000 calories. It could be more, it could be less. It's hard to say for sure, but if you see the portions, they're ridiculous. Our kids got, my daughter Bella got a root beer float, and it was just it's just you see, you're like, one person should not eat this much food, and so those are things that I'll consider in the future. But right now we're going to make that sacrifice to where, hey, there's going to be certain weekends where I'm not going to indulge because I need to get to the point where more times than not, I'm eating healthy and eating lean. And so that's the goal. The goal is to make good progress in the next 2 weeks, set myself up for the future, and make sure that ultimately when I do get to kind of like my goal, I need to maintain it. Like, and until I do that for a year plus, you know, even then nothing's guaranteed, but hopefully the lifestyle, it will be a little bit more ingrained. So those are some updates. Everything's going good. I mean, we're down to 244. I mean, that's the lowest weight I've been in years. I did track back to previous years and I've gotten down to 245 before. However, it seems like that's my lowest point, and then, you know, you don't see weigh-ins, you know, so, and then when you do weigh in later on, it's much higher. So with that said, I think that the best thing we can possibly do is to stay on track, hit it hard, and make sure that when the time comes that we're being reasonable when it comes to our food choices. We need to, you know, elevate our exercise regimen to where we're making progress there, and overall things are great. So that's the update, week 10 and 11. So we're almost to week 12 here. So this will be my second 12-week fat loss phase this year. So that's why I definitely think that at the end of the year I need to do a reverse diet, because I don't want to, you know, kill my metabolism. So that's the plan. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Peace.